when I think of what Mark does, he basically enables you or encourages you to take a step back, kind of escape is probably a good way of describing it. Escape that your normal patterns of thinking, get away from the stress or the rigors of your day to day. Take that opportunity just to get away from that, escape from that, and then start to unravel a little bit and delve a little bit deeper because of it. And I think that's part of the power of the work. Mark basically embodies what he does. He's been involved in that hectic, busy sort of corporate or entrepreneurial world, and just realised that it's not necessarily the best way for everyone. And so he's taken that step himself, and he's showing that there's a different way of doing things. There's a way that allows you to, in some ways, be more successful or enjoy what you do more without having to be always on. Been working with Mark for a couple of years now, maybe 2 or 3 years, and I think what it's shown, the impact it's had on me is just that ability to step back, relax, understand that there is more power, more wisdom in being able to step back, being able to look at things differently, and looking at things from a place of calm or a peaceful place, rather than thinking that you have to have high intensity or stress or whatever to make good decisions or to work out how to move and how to do things. Look, the farm's just fantastic. It is probably the core of what I guess Mark's work is all about, and what the intention of it is. It particularly if you're coming out of a city, then you get to just leave that behind, and then you come here. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. It gives you an environment to both escape, but also to tap into that that other side of you, that work, I guess, that Mark's is all about. It allows that to come through, and I think it also shows that other things are possible outside, for some people, outside the city. Even though I don't live in the city anymore, but it really shows that really well. The very first time I came here, it just felt like taking a step out, and sometimes it's almost like there's almost a guilt associated with not feeling like you're working hard. You take a step back, you kind of slow down. I think from memory, the first couple of hours were spent just sitting on some, almost like a lounge, just overlooking the dam, with birds through there and lily pads and everything else, and you're just sitting there chatting, and you kind of, as a part of you, at first thinks, what's the point of this? But then as you relax and get into it, and then you see sort of what's coming out of it, you realise that there is great power in having that connection with your environment, with what's around you. It allows you to, I think, just to go within better and focus better, and then you get to see the output of what comes from that. The best thing that I've probably got out of doing the work with Mark is just having that, almost that calm sounding board, that sort of bit of a voice of reason that's one step removed from what we're doing, but it's also coming from what is a bit of a bigger picture look at things, putting things objectively in space as to where they're at, rather than getting carried away with that issue or whatever it may be. So there's some real good, there's a real wisdom, I guess, that comes from that, and comes from having that there as a resource. So the one thing is, it's probably more in life rather than in business, but the one thing that probably is, when speaking with Mark on moving to the farm, and when he moved up here, is that he said that they wish they did it earlier. They wish they did it like 10 years earlier. And I think the power of that is that, that understanding that there's never a perfect moment for something, and if you can create your own reality around things. So just go and do it. Don't keep waiting, and don't kind of regret that you didn't do it sooner. I think the main part of the support that comes from Mark is that practical experience from being in business for so long, but then coupled with the approach that is with the farm and with what happens here. So you're getting that nice balance of the two worlds, if you like, and I do believe that it's in that, getting the right balance in there, which is where the best results come from. Probably the biggest change in terms of what I've seen is that when we do get like a stressful situation or problems that appear, that ability to look at them that little bit more objectively, that not to get carried away with sometimes it feels like the hype or the whatever of the situation, that ability to look at it still objectively with a more of a sense of calm, and then to act strongly, to act well in the situation. Whereas previously I think that I would have gotten a bit carried away with the whole thing and got caught up in it all. So it's you feel a lot more in control, and it's a lot calmer way. It's a lot nicer way of dealing with issues. I think I'd recommend it for people who understand that there's a broader context in what we do. It's not just about a business or a career or whatever. That's just part of the greater story, I guess, of who we are. So yeah, I recommend for people who are starting to understand that and can see that bigger picture, and wanting to understand it better, wanting to know what it's all about.